Read the national headlines today, and West Bengal is overwhelmingly defined by crisis. From massive recruitment scams hollowing out the education system to horrific, high-profile crimes dominating the evening news, the modern narrative of the state is one of severe institutional decay. Yet several decades ago, the reality was the opposite. When Lee Kuan Yew set out to build the modern metropolis of Singapore, he explicitly looked to Calcutta as his aspirational blueprint. The state was the undisputed intellectual capital of Asia, the soil that produced Nobel laureates like Rabindranath Tagore and fierce independence leaders like Subhash Chandra Bose. Take a look at this map of India from 1947. When we convert the economic data into a pie chart, you can see that Bengal alone generated a staggering 27% of independent India's total industrial output. Bengal served as the vital economic and intellectual engine driving the entire subcontinent forward. The question is how a region with that much built-in advantage ends up at the bottom of the Human Development Index. The fracture began in 1967. A severe food crisis sent rice and wheat prices soaring, sparking mass protests and bringing the state to a standstill. In the ensuing political chaos, the Communist Party of India, Marxist, seized control under Chief Minister Jyoti Basu. They installed what we can call the left operating system. This was a governance model that relied on militant trade unions, constant strikes, and the physical intimidation of factory owners. Then came a fatal ideological blind spot in the 1980s. While the rest of the world prepared for the digital age, the ruling party actively campaigned against technology, claiming that computers would eat jobs. Because of this stance, the booming IT industry bypassed Kolkata for Bangalore. The economic fallout was immediate. Major engineering firms shut their doors. In one infamous incident, the industrialist Aditya Birla was dragged from his car by local cadres and publicly humiliated. He flew to Bombay that same day, pulled his investments, and never returned. 34 years of this ideology bankrupted an industrial empire. Worse, it normalized a culture of systemic political violence, resulting in over 28,000 political murders during the regime's tenure. The people were desperate for an exit. They found it in Mamata Banerjee. Wearing a simple white sari and rubber flip-flops, she positioned herself as the ultimate grassroots underdog, who survived brutal police beatings to fight for the working class. Her defining moment arrived in the towns of Singor and Nandigram. When the government attempted to forcefully acquire farmers' land for a Tata Mano factory, Banerjee launched massive hunger strikes, standing physically between the farmers and the police. The intense conflict made local manufacturing impossible. Industrialist Ratan Tata abandoned Bengal entirely, moving his factory plans to Gujarat. But politically, the gamble worked. In the historic 2011 election, Banerjee achieved the impossible. She dismantled the 34-year communist stronghold and became chief minister. The public expected a renaissance. Instead, they got a tragic pivot. Banerjee realized that to maintain power, it was easier to co-opt the existing communist machinery than to destroy it. The transition was seamless. The local CPIM cadres, the booth operators, and the neighborhood enforcers didn't lose their jobs. They simply traded their red flags for the green flags of Banerjee's Trinamool Congress. This chart shows how government programs actually function. Federal funds flow toward the citizen, but a percentage is siphoned off by local bosses as cut money. Citizens are locked into syndicates, forced to buy materials exclusively from party-approved suppliers. The revolution was a mirage. The oppressive operating system survived flawlessly. It simply updated its administrator. That localized extortion soon scaled up to massive state-level corruption, including the SSC recruitment scandal, where thousands of teaching jobs were sold for cash, and the Sarada Ponzi scheme, which wiped out the life savings of nearly 2 million residents. Along with the corruption came a return to authoritarian paranoia. In one instance, a university professor was arrested and labeled a Maoist simply for sharing a political cartoon of the chief minister on WhatsApp. The institutional failure is most glaring regarding women's safety. From the systemic abuses in Sandeshkhali to the horrific crime at RG Kar Medical College, the response from the top has often been one of evidence cover-ups rather than accountability. As thousands filled the streets demanding accountability for RG Kar, Mamata Banerjee joined them. The chief minister, who also holds the portfolios for home and health, led a rally to demand justice from the very police force and medical administration she personally oversees. This is what happens when a government prioritizes the maintenance of a cadre network over the integrity of public institutions. When power relies on an inherited extortion system instead of functioning democratic checks, systemic breakdown is the result. To survive, the administration relies on a massive rollout of direct benefit welfare schemes, providing free rice and monthly cash stipends to millions of households. These handouts successfully manage extreme poverty on a day-to-day basis, but they create a trap. Without new industry or private investment, they generate zero wealth, leaving the state in an endless cycle of subsistence without progress. The ultimate consequence is a mass exodus. Millions of educated Bengali youths are forced to move to tech hubs like Bangalore or Delhi because their home state no longer offers them a future. The fierce underdog who bled to save Bengal from an oppressive system ultimately became its permanent manager, and the state that was once the proud industrial engine of India has been left completely hollowed out.